Hello, hello. It's Sonia here with Fresh Approach Fitness, a wellness company. Thank you so very much for joining us today. Episode number 21. Can you believe that? Oh, I know. I say this all the time, and it never faces to surprise me that I've been doing these podcasts now for 21 weeks. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Time flies. Time sure flies. So it's Sonia here with Fresh Approach Fitness, a wellness company. And for those that this is your first time chiming in, I want you to know that I am coming to you with over 11 years of experience in the wellness field. I am a certified coach in the following areas: personal training, boot camp, Strong by Zumba, so that falls under the physical elements. I'm also a certified life coach with NLP specialization and a certified healthy eating and weight loss coach. My friends, I help you live your best life. Consider me a dream catcher, right? I help all of your dreams come true. And what that means is you really take your day to day and step into some healthy habits to help you become even better, even more relaxed, even more cheerful, even happier than what you normally are. And as you're listening to this, I really hope that you have your pen and paper handy, you have your sense of humor prepared, and that you just listen to some of the ideas that I'm sharing. Today's episode is all about guilt, the guilt train. Ooh. Yep. It sucks, right? Put your hands up. Nod your head, smile. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to see what you do. Pick up your glass of wine and cheers to you all for doing the very best that you can every single day and still feeling the guilt every once in a while. Wow. what a bit of heaviness to get started. But that's what today's episode is going to be all about. I don't intend for it to be heavy. I want to keep it as light and cheeky and cheerful as I possibly can. But, my ideal client and the clients I work with the most are in their 40s. So I'm in my 40s. I'm 47. So we're in our 40s and we have kids. It doesn't matter how old they are. We have kids. In my case, I have kids, blended family, and grandkids. So my oldest daughter had a beautiful boy earlier this year. And that's just one more part of me, one more part of my life I get to enjoy, right? So we have the family side. Then we have our partner, or maybe we're alone. Okay, so we have our kids, we have our partner, again, or maybe we're alone, and I'm going to talk about that. We have our jobs. Now, our jobs can be our business. Our jobs can be our side hustle. Our jobs can be a stay-at-home mom or dad. Typically, it's a stay-at-home mom because my typical audience is moms of any sort. But there are so many of you moms, or even dads if you're listening, that are doing all of that. You are in corporate. You are working the 9 to 5 or the 9 to 6 or the 6 to 9, whatever it is that you're working for your job. Well, probably not 6 to 9, but maybe 6 a.m. to 3 or to 4. And you've got some side hustles, and maybe you've got your business you're trying to put off the ground because you believe in more. Okay, so we have the children, we have our partner, we have our method of employment, the source of income, right? Then on top of that, we have our parents, because most of the people listening to this podcast would fall into the bracket where we are lucky enough to still have parents or some sort of parental figure in our life that we want to give time and attention to. And then somewhere in the midst is us, the moms that want the best for our partners, the moms that want the best for our grandchildren and for our children. No matter if they're our blended children or our authentic children, it doesn't make a difference because we're lucky. We get to raise these. We get to be a part of their lives, and it doesn't matter where you're at with them. We all have had struggles, but having a family is true to our core and to our being, right? So we want the best for our family. We want the best for our partners. We want to give our best for our, again, for lack of better words, I'm going to say our source of income or our passion project or our hobbies, but they're money-making hobbies, okay? So those go under one category, and we definitely wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for, again, our parents or the people that are acting like parents in our life, people that we look up to, our role models. So And then there's us, right? Where do we fall in this? We're trying to people please all across the whole horizon. And some days we're better at it, and some days we're not. Some days we need some sangria. Some days we don't. I'm laughing, guys, because my dad's been guilting me lately. He says I'm always working. He was teasing that Tony's doing all the housework while I went and got my hair done today. Yeah, it's a Sunday, and yeah, I got my hair done, but I've also haven't had my hair done since January or February this year. So I've gone, 8-9 months because of COVID without getting my hair done. I do the best that I can too. Cheers. Have a sip of your sangria or your wine or your champagne or whatever else you feel like drinking as you're listening to this podcast. It could be coffee, tea, water. I really don't care. Have a sip. Cheers. And I'm saying that with intention because, guys, we do the very best that we can. But sometimes other people's opinions and other people's expectations stand in the way of us doing the best that we can. And I'm just as guilty of that as any of you are. You know, as parents, especially as parents of a divorce or of a separation, and we've gone through that and we have children and we feel guilty that our kids had to go through that. In my case, not once, but twice. I had to rebuild my life twice with 3 girls. And that took a lot of courage and persistence and hope and faith. And I'm not begrudging a second of it because it's part of my story. It's part of makes me who I am. And that is all okay with me. But the guilt, right? When you're working, you're not home with your kids. When you're spending your time in different areas, you're not able to do what other people expect you to get done. So I took a time out. I went and got my hair done. Yeah, and you all know, ladies especially, and men, you probably know this too by how long the ladies are gone. It can take a couple of hours to get your hair highlighted. Normally, 2 to 3 hours, right? Highlighted, cut, blow-dried, styled. And normally we're doing this 6 to 8 weeks. So a couple months or so, not all the time, but for those that haven't gone in 8+ months, it's going to take a little bit longer. Yeah. Okay. So it took me a little bit longer today than normal, but my next appointment is 10 weeks out. So if I take 2 to 3 hours, or let's just say 3 hours every 10 weeks to get my hair done, that's not that bad, right? Put that guilt into perspective, my friends. Let the guilt go. So the guilt is coming here because my dad was chattering about how luxurious I was to be able to get my hair done, whereas it really, really needed it, while Tony was doing all of the work around the house. Well, it happens. It really does happen. And sometimes there's yin and yang and there's give and take. Like, I came home and I ended up watching Unwell on Netflix. And I don't know who's seen this or heard of this, but it's a pretty good documentary. And the particular one I watched was about essential oils and about MLMs. And you all know by now that I am with doTERRA and I am with Zaya, but I use those as a reward systems for my clients. And I definitely can share all of that with you at a different time, but that's not what today's about. So I was away. So first of all, I did cook breakfast, for the record, bonus to me, because Tony's been doing a lot more of the evening cooking throughout the week, and it's a partnership. It's not the traditional, the man does this and the woman does that. That's my parents' generation. And for most of you that are listening to the guilt or the pressure or the expectations from other people, it's based on what they know. So my dad and my mom have a different set of expectations than what Tony and I know of. And our expectations are completely different than what they're going to be for our children, right? We want the best for our children, but it doesn't mean the way we're doing things right now will be the best for them. And it doesn't mean that my dad's pressure, and I know he doesn't mean this in a bad way, he's just playing around, but you and I both know there's a little bit of truth in every joke, right? So saying that, I came home and I watched Netflix for an hour. Well, you guys don't, you know me. I'm on social media. I send out wellness reports. I get back to people all the time. I am always doing something. So I do have my priorities. I do have my business. I do have 2 side hustles. I do have a lot of clients. I do have 5 blended children, including my own in there, and a grandson. I do have the same 24 hours a day as everybody else does that's listening to this. But those 24 hours look different for somebody who's retired. Those 24 hours look different for people that want your attention. So that's where the guilt comes into play, right? So yeah, after I helped put the groceries away, because when I came back, there was, Tony was finishing putting the groceries away. And yes, I will talk about this. He does the groceries because my Achilles tendinopathy on both my ankles, I can't stand in a lineup. If there's a lineup to pay for an hour, which there has been, I can't do that without not being able to walk for days. So he's been doing the groceries, and that's been working for us. So I cooked breakfast, then I got my hair done, then I came back after I put the groceries away, helped put the groceries away, we did it together, and I watched Netflix for an hour. But that's business, kind of, and it was chilling, and I was relaxing, and after I finished this, then I went live on Facebook. And after I finish this podcast, I will boil eggs, I will chop vegetables, I'll make some overnight oats. We will make dinner together, and I will see what else I can prepare for the week for lunches. I will probably even surprise him, and make his lunch. Because in our house, there's give and take. It's the external pressure we get from other people. And some days the heaviness of the burden that we have to carry, but it's not going to be like this forever. Normally when things feel imbalanced, when you feel the guilt, is when you're going through some sort of transition. Whether it's a financial transition with a new job, whether it's a stressful transition with some changes in your life, whether it's transition due to lack of communication, health concerns is another purpose for a transition. But normally when there's a transition, there's an imbalance somewhere. And that's definitely where I play a role, is helping people find their balance and their priorities. My friends, there was nothing wrong with me sitting down on a Sunday afternoon to watch one episode of Netflix. I don't stop during the day. I have a pretty full calendar. I have a pretty full schedule. But I do prioritize my time, right? It just looks different for my parents than it does for us. It looks different for us than it does for our children. And it certainly looks different from our children to my parents. And I know a lot of you listening to this are in the exact same position. It might seem like sometimes some of you is doing more than others. So what can you do to make yourself feel better? And having a sip of sangria may not make the difference. I don't know. But what can you do? What little surprises can you do to help ease the load off your partner or to help reassure your parents? So, and again, I'm not picking on my family by any means. They know that they're targets when I talk about this. I was going live a few minutes ago, and Tony came up behind me to tickle me or to put his hand in or to surprise me, and I was already done. But it would have been cute to have him in there because I want nothing more than for us to do something together, to do our lives together, to talk about our lives together, to share what it's like to be in the health and wellness field as a blended family with 2 full-time jobs and a business, and what it's like to balance it all. Honestly, I think it's an amazing story, and I think we do it with panache, my friends. With panache. Those that know me, I don't complain about what I have. I am thankful for what I have. Every single day, I am thankful that I have the youngest 74-year-old parents on the planet. But there was no word to mention that yesterday I dropped everything to be A, with my grandson, and to be B, with my parents, to make sure that they were okay, because my mom had lost a sister, and there are priorities in life, right? So, again, this isn't supposed to be somber, but I want you to understand guilt is coming from them. Okay, they are putting the guilt and the pressure on you when you're trying to do the very best that you can. Sometimes you need to pause. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, we're going to say ladies from now on. A year ago, when life was pre-COVID, I was doing retreats 3 or 4 times a year, and I was stepping away for the weekend to do some teaching at a retreat. I came back after 3 days away, recharged, refreshed, and the family missed me. That's not happening this year. There are no girl weekends. There are no girl trips. We're not even going away as a couple because we can't, right? So sometimes you need to find your own getaway, and if that means watching something, if that means sipping on some sangria on a Sunday as you're meal prepping and listening to this podcast, that's okay. If it means getting your hair done for the first time or getting your nails done in a long time, if you're comfortable with that, great. But try not to let the stress of today, the guilt, take you into the week. You need to find a way of identifying with it and moving forward into the next day. Many opportunities lie ahead, right? And what that means is we really need to tackle one area at a time. I know my dad just wants time with us, and he doesn't want me to be as busy as he was. I remember growing up that I never even really saw my dad because he worked all the time. That's all he did, is he worked all the time at a factory. He worked every single day of the week. I had the luxury of working from home. My kids, my family, they get to see me. I can interrupt for a second, go say hi, run out and give them a kiss. I can sit down and have dinner with my family. I still have the strong work ethic that I was raised with, and that's not going to change. It's the guilt of being the mother. It's the guilt of being the spouse. It's the guilt of not being able to be perfect at everything, right? Guys, we're not perfect. We are not perfect, and we're not looking for perfection. Okay, we are looking for perfection, and that's when we're going to get disappointed. And when other people expect perfection from us in certain areas, that's when we feel the guilt. You need to let it go and just do what you need to do. If you're hustling all week, or you're all over the place all week, or you've got other priorities, and you just need a little bit of time for yourself, take it. And that could be a bath, that could be a walk, that could be time outside looking at the water. It doesn't matter what it is. You could be sitting there doing some yoga or realigning your chakras. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It could be extra time journaling. And I know I'm a little bit passionate, and you can hear it in my voice as I'm sharing today's episode. But I was feeling guilty today. I was feeling guilty for not being the best daughter, and maybe not for being there for my spouse as much as I should have, because of my parents, not because of him. I know what we've got is good, but those are our expectations, right? It doesn't mean every day is perfect. Of course, there's some things I can do better, okay? So the guilt we normally feel is for other people, but we do a really, really good job of assuming that guilt. And honestly, sometimes it's pausing, reflecting, journaling, getting on the call with a friend, or just slowing down. I'm not slowing down today, but you can tell by my voice that I'm a little bit more excited than normal. And friends, that's going to happen. It really is going to happen some days. Nothing wrong with that. It just means I'm human. I'm sure as you're listening to this, you're human. And that's totally fine. It really, really, really is fine. It's just, how do you handle it? And are you going to carry it with you into the week ahead? Because the week ahead has different expectations. The week ahead has different goals. The week ahead has unpredictables. And we don't want to be carrying the baggage from today or the expectations into the weekend. So as you all know, I'm a proactive healthy habit life coach. What that means is I help you put bits and pieces of your life together so you are ready for what comes next. Honestly, whether that's looking at your financial budget and seeing what you can do to make things different so you're not always paycheck to paycheck, or it's picking out your clothes for work so your workout is ready. It's not your work, but your work or your workout, whichever. So you're not wasting time thinking about that. You know, you can pick out your workout. You can pick out your clothes and have them laying out in the morning. It's just helping you think in a different way. As I like to say on my podcast, think differently. Sorry, not my podcast, my social media platforms and that. Think differently. And that's what it's all about. So, you know, when I make the eggs, I'll probably make some, I don't know yet if I want to make some quinoa, but definitely going to do the snack prep and the meal prep shortly. Get the eggs ready, get the veggies cut, get the salad ready, get his lunch ready, get the overnight oats ready. So I have breakfast ready every morning. Because that's what's important to me, is being 2 steps ahead in some areas of my life. Eventually, it's going to free up other areas. Sooner rather than later, I'm going to start cooking meals again. I actually miss cooking. I really enjoy cooking meals when I'm not in a rush. So the question is, what are you doing with that guilt that comes your way? You know, are you feeling guilty to hit a certain amount of numbers or get a certain amount of things done at work? Are you feeling pulled in all of these different directions? We can chat at any single time. I am here for you, and I'd love to be able to help support you on your wellness journey. I'm talking to you from experience because I'm there. I'm riding this journey with you. And many of you have gained weight through COVID. Many of you are looking at your finances differently because of COVID. Many of you are dealing with emotional stress and guilt because of COVID. Things don't look the same as they did pre-COVID. And for many of us, myself included, we don't know what's expected down the road. We don't know what's going to change. So how can we prepare for that? The best way of preparing is to getting a few things in order, right? If you don't want to get sick, stay healthy. If you don't want to be in debt, take care of your finances. The best place to start is now. If you don't want to be hustling and bustling throughout your day and you want to be able to stop and spend time with whoever needs you, you have to make the time. In order to make the time, you can't always be busy or productive. And I am a victim of that. So I will be scaling my time differently. And that's one of the things I'm going to work on this week for sure. 100% for sure. My middle daughter reached out to me, and I know that I could tell by her message that she was missing just connecting and doing things together. So I cleared my schedule for Wednesday night, and I put her in there, and I said that we could have a regular Wednesday night date every Wednesday, and we can do something. And we're not sure what we're going to do. We might go hit some golf clubs and go to driving range. We might go do that on Wednesday. Or we might go sit back and do stuff for the vision board party. I didn't tell her that yet. Or we might take the dogs for a walk. Or we might sit and have drinks. But the point is, we're just going to hang out, just the two of us. And she is super excited for that. And that is one way, just one way, my friends, I can take the pressure and the guilt off in that area. What can you do? And I am honestly asking you, what can you do to help yourself eliminate the guilt in that area? And if you're not familiar with my Getting Started guide, I do have a really, really cool, healthy, it's called 21 Days to a Smiling Reflection. And I am going to talk about this on here because, first of all, you can't even say it without smiling. 21 Days to a Smiling Reflection. It's awesome. Okay, I also have a wellness quiz that you can do. Both of these are available on my website, freshapproachfitness.ca. And it doesn't matter where you're listening to this from. I can certainly help you with all of these. If you have any questions, if you're curious about how working with me would make a difference, I'm not saying you're not going to have days that aren't going to make you a little bit more. You're still going to be having off days, I'll be honest, right? They're not going to happen as often because more often than not, you're going to feel prepared. I know right now I've got some plans for tonight, and I've shared some of those with you. Meal prep. I'm actually going to get my gym clothes out for tomorrow. I'm going to pick out a program. I might actually write it on a board. We have friends coming over Friday night, so there's a few things I'm looking forward to that. Little things I'm looking forward to, and these are some of the things I can set you up with as well. But don't let the guilt rule you. Just accept it. I've been joking around and playing and being playful all afternoon, but it's nobody else's fault that I'm feeling guilty. It's my fault I'm feeling guilty, right? I am assuming the guilt. But it is a new week. We have some new energy coming our way. And if you are not on my newsletter yet, I do send out daily newsletters every single day and talk about this. So in this particular newsletter, I talked about standing strong against stress, overwhelm, and negativity in my life, which, aka guilt. I'm doing the best that I can. I am happy. I'm a very happy person. If I start leaning into the pressure of guilt, I may not be as happy as I am. Okay? So let me ask you 3 questions. All right? If I were an optimist, how would I view this scenario? Is this the right moment or the right emotional context to engage in anything different? Okay? And what stops happening or starts happening when I feel like I'm drifting? And what I mean by drifting is feeding into feelings like guilt. Things that are not serving you. Guilt doesn't serve anybody. It does not serve anybody. It adds pressure. So what stops happening when you start drifting towards guilt? You don't become the best version of yourself, which is counter, I'm trying to think of the right word, and I can't. But it's definitely counterpart to what we're trying to accomplish here, right? Because you only do the things that make you feel good, which isn't true as a parent. But most of the times that should be your goal. Okay. Be sure to message me if you want in on my daily newsletter. Know that I have a daily dose of inspiration, which gets sent out daily for those people that sign up for it. Listen, guys, it's less than 50 cents a day. It costs you $10 a month. That is amazing for inspiration coming right to your inbox. And I can help you with some proactive healthy habits. I know how valuable your time is. Today's episode is sitting at about 26 minutes. Let me know how I can help you. Know that tomorrow's a new day. We're going to wake, hustle, and repeat. You're going to live an inspired life, and think of what it is that you can do that'll inspire yourself tomorrow to be the best person that you can be. Right? Guilt aside, be the best person. Smile, have laughter in your life. Awaken your magic. Okay, I'm not keeping you. Till next week, my friends, you know how to find me. Sonia at freshapproachfitness.ca. I am here to guide and support you every step of the way on your wellness journey. And I really hope you got some cheers and giggles out of my day in a life today. Make it a good one.